Good evening. My name is Bianca, and the title of this episode is The Anna Louise Staff and mainly their management. So, when I say staff, I'm not talking about all the staff because I don't think all the staff is included, but I'm talking about management and positions of authority, positions of power, and when people abuse positions of authority. And what is a position of authority? Positions of authority, when it comes to my mind, I think of a person that has been assigned to have a certain influence over the lives of other people. I think about someone who makes decisions that greatly affect the lives of other individuals. And this is a person that is entrusted to do so. So that's what a position of authority is. A person like a judge, a mayor, a lawyer, an officer, all sorts of positions of authority. Also, social workers, those are positions of authority. Okay, and I would like to tie that into the Anna Louise and how Beth, which is their residential manager, I believe, and then there's the director, property director, not Evan, but Gordon, and also their maintenance man, which is also another position of authority. You know, you have access to other people's belongings, and all sorts of things. So, and then so now we have to ask. You're asking me the question: how did Beth and Gordon abuse their positions of authority? Well, for starters, when I found out that my privacy was being invaded grossly, and the illegal financial dealings that the Anna Louise management made with a cartel that I have no idea who, to put illegal cameras in my home and to conduct this stalking and harassment that is going on. And how they abuse their position of authority is they're trying to silence me from talking about it. And one of the ways they're using their positions of authority to try to silence me from talking about it is by putting me out, by having tenants start unnecessary arguments and fights. So, like I said in other episodes, feel free to watch back on the other episodes. I believe that the prostitution activities started in the Off the Streets program with their maintenance guy, Evan. I noticed very strange and weird behavior coming from him. And then it spread to Gordon and then Beth. And then one thing about human traffickers, when you expose them, they like to send a message, hey, so what? We've got more people joining. So after I started to suspect Evan, then Gordon and Beth, then it was more female tenant neighbors joining on the bandwagon to try to silence me about the abuse that is going on currently in my apartment unit. So, like I said, I live every day on camera in the open. My privacy was sold 5 years ago from the Gamble Nippert YMCA. And it destroyed not only my life, but it destroyed my daughter's life. And everywhere I go, there's a man, a predator by the name of Zachary, and there's several predators, some type of group secretly operating out of the Gamble Nippert YMCA, and they have an illegal business. And one thing I want to mention about the illegal surveillance human trafficking, I really believe with the technology that we have that this is greatly new to society, because it sounds highly absurd. It's kind of like COVID. When COVID came out, it's like, what the heck is COVID? Now COVID is like the flu. 8 years later, 8 to 10 years later, COVID is like the flu. You can get over the counter medication. So my point is, though, metaphorically speaking, this is kind of like the COVID, how it was. This is new. This is kind of like unheard of. Like, what do you mean someone's watching you in your apartment? Because I can't point, because if you ask me, point out the cameras, I can't point out the cameras to you. I don't know where they're at. And this is how human traffickers make their money. This is how they force women to undress on camera. And unfortunately, a lot of women are never aware of it, and they're taken out of life by being unalive before they're made aware. And like I said, I can only thank God that He gifted me to be able to pick up on these hidden criminal activities, perhaps to be able to save other lives in the future, and to expose people like Beth and Gordon, who sit in their offices every day, and they collect a check from their job, and also illegal money by harming females. Gordon and Beth, they harm females. What females? I don't know other females, but I know they're sure harming me with making these illegal dealings, with having these cameras in my home. And then they want to make it seem like I'm mentally ill about the criminal activities that's been going on inside my apartment. All this noise. Like I said, I never forget, when I, came to Beth, because people were like, well, why don't you go ahead and ask Beth? Keep asking Beth. And once I kept coming to Beth about it, that's when Beth started making a problem about my certification. That is exactly when she did it, because she needs to cover what she's already done. See, Beth and Gordon and Evan, they want to cover up what they've already done, the assault. How Beth allows Evan on this property to assault me through these illegal cameras. How Beth sits back and encourages these female tenants, the ones that are participating. I'm not saying every female tenant is participating, but quite a few of them are participating. She would like to act like what I'm talking about is not true, is not what's really going on. And, that's one thing that predators thrive off of. And, yes, she is a predator. I am calling Beth, Gordon, and whoever is involved a predator, because who would sit and just invade someone's privacy like that? And I think it's such extreme abuse, because I'm being made to exploit my body, not only for a cartel, but for the direct people that I live around. So that means Beth has seen me undress. That means Evan and Gordon have seen me completely naked in the shower. That means all the neighbors that have access to this, whatever they're using, they have seen me in the most compromising positions. So that means my respect has been devalued, and it's been devalued for quite some time. And I think it's one thing for a female to put herself out there like that. I think it's one thing for a woman to solicit her own body, and then she gets devalued, degraded. She gets sexually harassed because she chose to partake in that lifestyle. But you are dealing with a woman who has never, ever, ever consented to anything like that. And I have individuals from the Gamble Nipper YMCA, and however they're making dealings in between the Anna Louise to continue to put these videos out. These tenants and them are getting paid to watch me whenever I take a shower, or whenever I go to the bathroom, or whenever I undress, and heaven forbid if I am to engage in any type of adult activities, they're going to record that and sell it. So this is the games that are being played right directly on the property of Anna Louise. The intimidation and the stalking and harassment, and also their illegal surveillance. And I think that's a very big component, because how could they stalk me if they don't have the illegal surveillance? And I'm hoping that the truth does come out, so that these people can be held accountable. And these people are highly unfit for their positions of power, because they're abusing women like myself, who would love to move. Because you may ask, well, why don't you just move? Why don't you? Number one, everywhere I move, until these people from the YMCA are brought to justice, until the law enforcement are held accountable by higher authority, everywhere I move, they're tracking me wherever I go. Why are they doing it? Because I opened up my mouth about my 9-year-old daughter. That's why they're doing it. I opened up my mouth about what happened to my 9-year-old daughter with lifeguard Zach, Glenda Harris group, assault of a child, stolen money by forgery through their Hamilton County judges. So all these people are trying to cover it up, because you're like, well, why would law enforcement do that? That's the reason why law enforcement is harassing me and paying property owners and stuff like that, because I opened up my mouth about the crimes that their pals and friends and associates committed against me in 2021 and 2022 at the Gamble Nip YMCA. So everywhere I move, it's the same ball game, the same setup. You know, it would be nice if more people had integrity, but they don't. And so that, and then the money part. So, because I'm, talking about why I don't just move. And that's what makes people like these predators, because number one, I'm living here because I'm on poverty level and I have suffered some type of trauma, because this is the type of center that is. This is a battered women's drug rehab, sex trafficking rehab. And it's crazy how they, advertise about helping women from sex trafficking, ironically, to have people like Beth and Gordon make money under the table by keeping women human trafficked, such as myself. I just think that's highly ironic, that, this is supposed to be what Anna Louise is about. And yet you find people like Beth and Gordon in these positions smiling in people's faces, but behind closed doors, making illegal dealings and extreme abuse to females such as myself, because illegal surveillance is extreme abuse. And then to have tenants watching and exploiting, all what I'm doing in my home is just total disrespect, and it's total degradation. And this is supposed to be everything that the Anna Louise mission statement and purpose is supposedly supposed to speak against. But here we are at the Anna Louise Inn experiencing things that they are trying to keep hidden. Who's trying to keep it hidden? Evan, Beth, and Gordon, and whoever else is involved. But with me, it's not going to stay hidden, because I'm going to continue to fight to speak out about human trafficking. And people like that, we deserve, I think, as women and children, we deserve a better country, a safer country, and definitely the city of Cincinnati. And I'm hoping to help make that possible. Look, it's been a pleasure talking to you all. Don't want to keep you too long. I will make other podcasts in the future. Take care, peace, and God bless.